Okay, so in the interest of time, kind of on. So, we are to people on the line, and again, if you guys have three of you who are listening, if you have specific questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat box. But coming from an academic background, what would you say firms are looking for as you look to transition out of academia into these other fields?
So if you're in academia, you should already have some kind of habit of excellence and impact. So in the sense that, you start a project during your PhD or Master of Science, and you want to tackle until the end. So you're able to define a problem and look for the solution behind, or get all the information that is needed. So this is one piece. The next one is, as we just talked with Christine before, is can you really think on your feet? Can you have, can you pass and be strike ahead? Can you think ahead and see, okay, if this has happened, A happened after I have the choice between B and C, and if B is happening instead of C, it's going to be D or E. So can you break a problem, building a decision tree? Can you envision what is going to happen and really have an idea about how to solve the problem? Obviously, you have to bring something to the table initially when you start a job, and there is more likely going to be the programming or the modeling, depending on what you do, or it can be the analytical thinking, being able to solve the problem. You have to be able to speak in plain English. You don't want to talk to somebody and say, big Gaussian distribution or Poisson distribution, I think this is going to happen. No, it's, you know what, most of the time, 80% of the time, I think the outcome is going to be yes, or people are going to quit, whatever it is. You need to be able to speak in plain English, and it's just amazing because you have people who are very strong but are not able to articulate what they think, and at the same time, they are not able to hear what the business wants. So this is what BI is really to be a bridge in between the analytical world and the business world. We talked about before that, you need to understand the industry, so don't go straight and just say, okay, I want a job, and you don't even know, as I mentioned before, what is a call or put, or you don't know that you don't go to BlackBerry, or you don't go to Apple, and you don't know the name of their last 5 products. You don't know where the industry is going. You don't. You need to be able to speak their language. Obviously, you on the business side, so you need to be driving. So you need to be in the driver's seat as opposed to just be order taker. So if you need to be able, as we talked about before, to have that thinking and come up with ideas. And the cultural fit, so this is where some places like people who are outgoing, some places are more, people are more or whatever, so this is after just a case by case. Are you somebody who is a risk taker and maybe you should go in a startup? Or you are somebody who like more the red tape and the processes and everything done in different, more like in a big corporation. So you have to understand this because obviously you have the versus small company issue there.
Yeah. One thing that I've heard in this area before is people from could focus on being 100% the right answer, but in business is kind of that 80-20. In terms of what firms are looking for, is there any way that you can come across or express, prove to them that you're comfortable working in that type of an environment?
And I think this is where, if you go back to the case study, instead of saying, "Oh, let me think for half an hour and I'm going to go back to you," you have to be able to think about loud, and even if it's on the phone or if you're face to face, there is no wrong about saying, okay, let me think about loud now, and let me come up with ideas. And it's said about having the right answer, 100% right answer, but it's more about, okay, thinking about these three possibilities. Okay, I'm in New York. I want to go to Boston. The first possibility is to go through Chicago because I've been this way before. I've been to Chicago, to both places. But you know what? From Chicago, it looks like it's too far. Another possibility is to take this highway or to take the back road. You know what? The back road is maybe not a good idea because it's 200 miles, and I'm not going to do 200 miles on back roads. So just take the major highway. It's about, being able to break down the problem in simple pieces and just bounce the idea with other people and say, you know what, I'm giving a first draft of my model, a first draft of my recommendation. Tell me what you think, and I can try to improve it later. Especially like in a startup where you have to really think fast. You have to think about, you know what, if I know that Los Angeles is west of New York, but I don't exactly if it's southern or northerner of New York, but roughly it's on the west. You don't need to go Google Map and figure out that it's 2 lower or 1 degree higher, whatever it is. It's just, can you come back quickly with a rough answer?
I actually just got a question from the audience here. You had a PhD going into management consulting and then into BI. If you were in, let's say, a math or IT background as a graduate, could you enter into a McKinsey? Could you still enter into this field without pursuing advanced degrees?
The way it works, like for example, for McKinsey, you have 2 entry level. You have the business analyst and you have the associate. So the associate come in after an advanced degree, an MBA or a PhD, and the business analyst come after just bachelor degree. So it's really possible, depending on the school. McKinsey may come on campus or not. In fact, one piece happened to me is I was even at the time, I'm sure they still do it, they even had for us a process to help us to go through the recruiting process. So I was trained for the interview process. So before I come, they started to teach us how to solve a study. How can we meet with other students so we can practice together? They make us do mock interview. They tell us what kind of book we can read about it. So because for them, they thought if we train people, only the one that have a business background are going to be able to come in. As opposed to, you know what, we just need people who are able to think, people who can be leaders, and we can train them ourselves. But we need to give them a bit of leverage at the beginning. So, yeah, it's possible.
Excellent. And so if your school doesn't have McKinsey coming on campus in that same way, they just need to make sure that they're doing the proper preparations such that they are on a even playing field with more business background.